So earlier today, Fnatic won Red Bull Homeground, and we're going to take a look at one of their games, but they weren't quite as dominant as maybe many people expected, going the full 5 maps against Cloud9, and we're actually going to take a look at one of the maps that they lost on Breeze, mostly because you don't normally get to see Fnatic play on Breeze. In fact, they've only played on Breeze in 10 games during the org's entire history, and only 6 of those games were actually in the VCT. And there's going to be a little bit of good and bad in this one, but let's start off with round number 5, around the Fnatic win.
Any America's teams are and have been historically.
Yeah.
If they can sweep things back, they'll be quite happy. The flash timing is not fantastic. It does blind the opponent, though. And hey, if you have Durka as backup, I think you can survive.
So I did say we were going to get some of the good with the bad, and straight away we see that in this round, but I like the plan by Fnatic here, and I don't think Fnatic have probably had a lot of time to practice, and this is a map that, you know, they aren't used to playing, so this kind of thing was impressive to me, right? That we have this kind of setup ready to go, you know, we kind of seem to be on the same page, know what we're doing, where we're going to triple fight here in A main with a flash coming in from the KO. Obviously, we see that Boaster mistimes it slightly, but also we've got the plan for the B site as well, where we've got, you know, this wall coming across protecting the site. You've also got Alfia, who's going to have cages set up here as well with little kill trips over towards B. So they have a plan in mind, right? And if you haven't had a lot of time to practice, this is a good plan. And, you know, even though it doesn't go perfectly, as we see, because Boaster, you know, is going to just miss time with the flash here, you know, it's still good enough to where we're on the same page enough, you know, and the flash is good enough to where Durka can come in, you know, swing with Boaster and, you know, manage to come and get that kill, right? And so we end up on the same page, we end up with the first kill, but there is one thing that I was a little confused by, right? And that is Leo, because if we come here to Leo's buy, sorry, I'm on the wrong team there. Come here to Leo's buy, you still see he has full util and he still has his ult, right? Which brings up the question that if I just bring it back to the beginning of this round, you're gonna see Leo just sitting out here, and that begs the question, what is he doing? Right, because he doesn't use any util, no dart, no nothing, right? It looks like he's kind of positioned to do an ult, and you see him ping, you see pings there. Maybe that's him pinging like, hey, I will ult this, and I would guess, and this is just a guess, you know, that Fnatic aren't just, you know, keeping Leo here staring at a wall for no reason, that he's going to ult if Boaster sees someone. The problem is, of course, Boaster can't see anyone, because he gets fully blinded, right? So that is my guess there. And then by the time that, you know, Boaster swings and gets the kill, Leo is then moved because perhaps he thought that, oh, no one's there, right? Because Boaster didn't see someone straight away. And so it kind of ends up looking a bit awkward, but eventually they figure it out. And now let's take a look at the rest of the round.
C9 won't be moving towards the A site now. They've completely abandoned it, instead looking to navigate their way in towards B. This is where the setup is quite dangerous. Alfia's got traps everywhere. Cam up top. They've heard it being cancelled out. He's managed to spot one, but he's waiting for someone to step that little bit further forward. They've broken one trap. They've broken a second. Okay, now a Cove. Even going to help them out on the cross, but he stepped inside it. That's a safe spot for Alfia to fight from. And he relishes that opportunity, ripping off their heads. And, well, not quite Gravidoxy, but Boaster's snake bite will manage.
And so we see this Alfia setup come into view. You can see the 2 cages that he's got there, right? He's just ready for them to come in onto this site. He's got his little kill trips, the camera as well to help ping. And maybe it's a good thing that Leo, you know, didn't use any of that utility and didn't use any of that of his ult either, because you can already see that he's pinging this wall, right? He's already telling Alfia, this wall, I'm going to send a dart in there. And then obviously the dart just completely destroys C9, you know, catches 3 of them. He ults with it as well. That gets a kill. You know, Alfia is going to scale up here and get a kill as well, and then Durka is scaling up on the site and getting another kill. Like, just really, really good stuff from them. And then even Boaster, you know, the snake bite that lands back here on Oxy, right, from all the way kind of back towards the archway here. Really, really good stuff from Fnatic in general, and yeah, just a really nice round. But now let's take a look at a round that doesn't go as well for Fnatic, round number 8.
He's going to peek B main.
They're very passive on B. Oxy is here holding the angle, waiting for the peak to come through. And the shot will not land.
And we're actually going to stop it right there, because whilst in that round before, you kind of saw that there was a setup there and there was a clear idea in mind. For this one, I don't really know what Fnatic are doing. And it kind of looks like they fully don't know what they're doing as well. And there's multiple layers of this that, to me, don't make sense. So what they're going to go for, as you saw, is they're trying to get Durka pushed down B. right? And that's perfectly fine. You know, there's no problem with that to get him pushed down here. The thing is, of course, when you do this, you're going to need someone else to hold the window for you, right? If Dirk is looking down here with his op, which they have. Alfia is there as well. But as I said, there's going to be multiple parts of this, which I think either could be improved or just don't make any sense. Again, we're going to talk about what is Leo doing, right? Because Leo's kind of like here as well for a bit. But when they start to come down here a bit, he's just going to like drift off and disappear here. And I don't know why he needs to be there. Because, again, he's not going to use any of his utility here, right? So it's not like he's part of this play at all. He's just going to kind of drift off here. Alfia actually goes and puts this camera down that you can just see on the map just there. He puts it down here, which doesn't make any sense either. Because now there's no one holding this, right? Leo's drifting off across here. Alfia, if someone swings the window now, Alfia's just a free kill. Because Durka's looking to hunt down this way. So, again, there's no reason why that timing couldn't be there, that someone could swing this way, as far as I can tell. And he's going to take his time to check the camera instead. And so you can see, like, Leo's just drifted off, not there. And then as we go forward with this as well, right, and Durka comes up and, okay, he's going to miss his shot. There's other questions I have as well here. Like, why is this Cypher utility here? Like, when are we thinking that this is going to be used? Like, whether Durka gets a kill or not, like... Are we thinking like, oh, Durka's going to die here, and then I'm going to retreat and not try and trade him? And then they'll come to B, and that's when my Cypher stuff will get used. What? And Leo at this point is just like, you know, he started here, and then they've pushed, and then he's just kind of drifted over here and not done anything. You know, like, what? And then there's other... So there's just layers to this that you might think, like, wouldn't the Cypher be better off over towards A? You know, or kind of like... really weak side that if they come towards this, there's no way we can stop it because we're pushing B. Wouldn't that make maybe more sense to do that? And even if we don't do that, wouldn't our KO be better off like KO knifing over here so that we know if we're running into like 5 people, or, you know, maybe it just suppresses 1 and then it's like green light, right? Or if it suppresses 5 people, it's like, oh no, go back, right? Don't run into 5 people with just a jet and a Cypher with no flash, and our Sova isn't using any utility either. Or, you know, also have Leo just join in with this, right? Why not just add an extra player to this? Whether he is just constantly holding for these two to then, you know, for both of them to get aggressive, or whether he's using a dart in here or something to, you know, help turn everyone's attention when Durka swings. There's quite a lot of things here that I just think I don't really get. And then Boaster is just sitting in here the whole time. Now, this was something that we're doing that I'm sure has some reason to it, but I couldn't really figure out, you know, right now why he's just sitting in there, you know, not really doing anything. It just doesn't make any sense.
To come through, the shot will not land on either side, but that has deterred C9 from sticking around. They're looking to take the A site. It looks like it's wide open for them. There is one player a little further back. It's Boaster. He's avoided the dog for now. He can't do a whole lot. Powerless with his abilities removed. He has to rely on his weapon or on his teammates rotating back. That flash was.
And so, of course, after seeing Durka miss his shot, you know, Cloud9 just straight away head towards this A site, right? Which, again, just kind of makes it seem weird that the Cypher with some kill trips isn't here, because you would think, like, that would make a lot of sense. You know, they're probably going to respond by doing this anyway, so maybe we can get into, like, a 5v4 kind of, you know, kill trip setup, you know, get a kill from it. That would be nice. But then the second part to this is what Boaster does as well, because he just ends up completely on his own, right? And I think here, Boaster needs to realize at this point, you know, when this dog is starting to come in onto the site, just here, and the harbor wall is coming in as well to him, right? He has to realize at that point, like, he can't stay here. Right, he's completely on his own. Chronicle is going to end up walking out of mid, which is perfectly fine, right? It's perfectly fine to, you know, check that this isn't a split, or has someone like lurking up mid here that you might be able to catch out, right? That's a perfectly fine decision. But if you are doing that and these rotates are literally as far away as they probably could possibly be, Boaster can't decide to come back. Right, he just can't, and he's going to end up in a really tough situation here where he does end up just drifting back, as you can see, as this dog is coming up. And of course, he doesn't know if, you know, people are following in with the dog. He's actually going to put a nice snake bite here down in the choke point. You can see it land just there, right? But now he's ended up back in a really bad position where he's now back on the site. He doesn't know if these guys have scaled up, and now there's kind of too big of a gap to really get out, right? So the decision kind of has to come before that, whereas communication with Chronicle has to be that, you know, hey, he's leaving, these guys are miles away, you can't stay there, or else, you know, what obviously happens, where he ends up in a bad spot. And at this point, as I said, he can't really escape now, and then he gets KO ulted as well, you know, so that just compounds the situation, makes it even worse. And then, you know, Cloud9 almost give him like a chance at escape with that cascade, but he ends up dying. And now let's see how the rest of the round plays out.
Capitalizing and now looking to retreat as Oxy picks off Durka. That's the op out of the round. A big threat for Fnatic, now diminished to nothing. And for C9, they have all the control they could possibly wish for, even spawning Chronicle on the flank. This might even change Fnatic's mind about committing to this. Well, if it didn't before, that certainly should. Alpha wants to get out of here. Easier said than done.
But now let's come to their attacking side here, where again, there was some good and bad.
2 players, 20 and 21. The next highest kills in the server, it's 9, and now they're even. Oxy will take the fight, but...
So let's talk about the start of this round then, which again, they're against an eco here. You know, Cloud9 have the 1 rifle, which Oxy has. And it starts off not so great, I would say. They do throw a KO knife in towards short just here, which, you know, it helps, I guess, a little bit. But Durka's going to, as you saw, just go super mega giga swinging right here. And, you know, just on his own with no, you know, I guess the KO knife's there, but no real other utility to help him in any of these fights that he's about to take. It's not ideal, right? I would also say to C9, like, you know, this is your 1 rifle on an eco. I don't mind it getting aggressive for a gun, but maybe give him some help, you know, because, again, like, I don't know if these Jets think that they're playing Yoru instead, but obviously once Oxy gets to this situation, I mean, he has to take another fight, and it's just, yeah, obviously not going to go great for him there. So it's kind of an awkward start for Fnatic, but let's see how it goes.
It's a trade out. Seemingly tried to do it all on his own.
Yeah, surprising lack of support there, right? Like, he goes down, no further trades. It's an aggressive round, but...
Especially when you have a low buy,
yes,
I feel like you just send whatever you have to support him.
At least 1 or 2, you know, you gotta have players there, bodies, but they tried something, it didn't work. Now they've got to recover it elsewhere. Alpha down to 25, that's a good opportunity. If ever I've seen one.
Do they know?
He's gonna be a human recon dart, he's dead. Surely Curry's gonna kill him. No,
they don't know he's there.
They've went back. Still, that could work in Curry's favor later on into this. As he could get the jump on them, being a little closer than expected. He's dropped Leo 25 on Alpha, and the right click is enough. Now he's gonna Vandal, and the flash is perfect. Gorgeous flash from Zeppa, leaving Chronicle to do it all. And the spike is down on the site. This was a low buy round from C9 where they sent Oxy on runabouts. Oxy died. I thought the round should be done and dusted there. But the positioning out of Curry has given them a new lease of life. Chronicle looking to drain every ounce of it out of them. 82 and 3 players swinging.
Okay, so Fnatic, after these 2 trades, decide to go for a B split, which is a perfectly fine idea. They got their Viper up here, they cross up to the top side of mid just there. And the first thing I want you to take a notice of is the fact that we got this drone coming into B, and Alfia is entering the site around now, right? Which was with 1:23 on the clock. Keep that in mind, that Alfia is going to get onto this site with about 1:23 onto the clock, because then Boaster is going to put down this Viper wall just here. We've got Chronicle just kind of holding for Nest or any push coming from the other side of mid as well. And so you think, oh yeah, in we go. Let's go and, you know, do this B split and take the site. And, you know, we're against an eco. We should be good, right? But then something very strange happens. They put this dart in here, you know, and eventually they're going to see Curry. Alfia, you know, starts clearing parts of the site out, and he sees Curry just there. And this is where it gets weird, that from now, which is like 1:13 where they see him on the site, it's going to take like another 20 seconds before Boaster actually gets onto the site. So Boaster is here. He, in all, from when Alfia gets into the site, it's going to take him another 30 seconds to step forward. And the only person on the site has a classic. And I can't figure this out. And I'm not saying that there isn't a reason. This is kind of where we need Riot, a VOD reviewer. We need one, because I can't figure out why Boaster doesn't go into the site. It's possible he's waiting for Chronicle, but Chronicle is holding for, you know, anyone coming behind him anyway, so that's kind of fine. Alfia is on the site. He's cleared out kind of everything else. You know that this guy is here, but he's got a classic. And you're just going to watch the map now. They're just going to stop. And I don't know why. Why did we stop? And, you know, give time to these guys to rotate when the guy's only got a classic. And sure, it's well played by Curry. He kind of, you know, outmaneuvers them and it gets tricky and whatever. And obviously, once a certain time has passed, I think, we don't really see it, but I think Boaster's going to drop his wall. And so that's why they pause after a certain time. But I don't get why we didn't go anyway. Like, why when we saw a guy with a classic, why were we scared? And obviously, it's nice by Curry. You know, he kind of outplays him. You see the wall is up there from Curry's POV if we just, you know, go back like a million frames or whatever. This is their wall, right, that is up right now. And this is when Boaster's coming onto the site with 53 seconds left, right, is when he's finally making his move here. So I don't know why they didn't go. You know, we'd have to ask Boaster exactly. It just seems a bit strange to me. Great flash here as well. Nice play by Curry. And so this one was just a little weird as well. You know, obviously, Durka maybe getting a bit over-aggressive against an eco, gets punished, they trade it, it's fine, whatever, that's their rifle down. But then I can't understand, I really don't understand why we were so scared of a guy with a classic on the back of his site. But then finally, let's finish with round number 19, where there were some nice things that Fnatic did on the attack side as well, like win this Thrifty.
That spike is dropped, so there was 2 players stuck on default when they go to retake. So he somewhat wins them the round just because of that. And Oxy, it's huge. He was fantastic in map 1. He's kept it going map 2. We're hoping that this series will go the distance, and who knows how many kills he'll have by the end of it. But if they, let's put it this way, if they are going to win, he might need 100 plus.
They've invested so much here. A Bladestorm, Alpha, and Leo both grabbing rifles, and to lose Boaster, your smoke's on the way through. They need to win these fights, rely on Durka. Catwood, rely on Alpha here, apparently just swinging into Curry. Vanity's down after 1. It's a round for Alpha here to put into the books.
Okay, so starting off with this one just here, look, sometimes your opponent hits a nice shot, right? They've got good players too, and that's pretty much what's going to happen to Boaster here, right? Oxy, nice shot. Don't really have a problem with it. You're on this kind of like half buy eco thing anyway, although Alfia did buy all the way down. Not sure if that was a miscommunication or what. But, you know, they end up in a 4v5, and it's in a rough spot. But they do a nice little job here, I think, of just being aware of kind of, you know, first off, we're decisive, right? We just go, okay, let's just do a B split. Let's just run away from this guy who's pretty good. The dog's going to come out. Dirk is going to avoid that. But I like this little, they're just going to drone from elbow here. You see Leo just droning from there. And that's just going to create, like, even though, like, he's eventually actually going to come running back this way, right? Just creates a sense of pressure from this side, right? It just creates, like, we're coming from here. Right, which is just going to keep kind of C9 a bit occupied, I think, because then what's going to happen is obviously they're going to burst here throughout main, and you see the cage just go up there from Alfia. You see them just go there, and obviously Durka is now creating this distraction with the dash in, and so now Curry has a lot to kind of worry about. You can see he's kind of tucked himself up against this wall, probably because he's worried about, you know, someone coming from this way, but now, you know, he's worried about Durka dashing in just here, and Alfia is now going to come out of the other side of this cage and manage to beat him in the 1v1. So they just set themselves up nicely, I think, here. Just that little touch of the drone I thought was quite cool. And then I think they do a really nice job here on Vanity as well, right? So after they get that kill, you know, now Vanity is also in a tough spot, right? He's also got to be worried that maybe someone's coming from there. You know, so the Alpha is this way, that, you know, Dirk is coming from behind him. They got pressure from here. Like, they just do a really nice job of kind of pinching on him, right? Even after Chronicle dies just there, right? Like, he's just in a, there's just no way to survive that situation. And so they do a really nice job, and they manage to get the spike down. And now let's see what happens in this post plant.
Planted.
With the Hunter's Fury online, the post plant could be strong. Still to contend with is the Bladestorm from Durka. On the way back through, C9 could be in trouble, but that op from Oxy, I expected it to be a big factor in the previous round. It wasn't quite. He's going to use the Bladestorm to close the distance, a blade-on-blade battle. And it's going to be Oxy to win it. A beautiful kill, leaving just one man alive. Leo miles away. He has the Hunter's Fury. He will pop it. He will use it and almost grab the kill. Oxy's low. He's delayed them at least a moment. That was almost a double. Still 2 players standing though, and he has to break the cove. It's just a few bullets needed. Half already. Leo somehow in a position where this is not only winnable, but it's won.
And so if we come to this, of course you knew that Leo was going to do something insane there, and he did it multiple times in this game. He's probably the best player in the world. But it's a nice start by here from C9 in this retake, right? You see the Harbor utility kind of being a bit of a nuisance there and allowing them to scale up onto the site, making it difficult for Fnatic, right? That's a nice little kill by Oxy there with the Bladestorm. Alfia then tries to go make a play. You know, he has to run through the wall. Doesn't quite find the timing. Good holding by Zeppa. But now, I mean, when Leo pops this Hunter's Fury, you're probably thinking, like, what is he doing, right? 1v3? You don't have a chance. What are you doing? He almost gets 2 kills from it, which, you know, you would say to C9, like, he's going to be aiming at the spike. Like, you know, just we got plenty of time as well. The Cove is up as well, and so Zephyr, I would say, also makes like a little mistake here, right, where he's just, you know, you can wait for the Cove to be broken first, right? We don't necessarily need to do that. But then once he was in this position, it was kind of, you know, you felt like he was going to win it, and he did. And for me here, for Fnatic, it was, you know, a bit of a mixed bag. They did win, but it wasn't convincing. They lost a couple maps. They didn't look amazing, I would say, which, hey, it's the off season. Maybe you can excuse that, but ultimately, they did manage to close it out.